If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that sub button for more amazing content. Now, let's jump straight into the video. What's good, everyone? It's your girl Bofina1 bringing you guys yet another podcast. So this will be podcast number 2. As I said, the podcast I plan to upload at least 1 to 2 times a week, whether it's on YouTube, Anchor, Spotify, etc. I also plan to eventually have a Q&A section at the end of the video to allow for you guys to be more engaged in the podcast. So let's jump straight into it. So for the first topic that I want to talk about for the second podcast is, as of right now, we all know COVID's going on. A lot of us are, having a hard time struggling with this pandemic, whether you're out of work, you need money, or whether, you're just struggling mentally because you're socially distancing from your friends. So you haven't been able to see your friends for months, etc. Like, people are literally going through a lot of stuff right now, which is kind of one of the reasons why I believe as of right now, if you are still working, or even if you're on unemployment and you do have some leftover money, you should be looking at trying to have multiple streams of income. And what I mean by that is you should never try to put all your eggs in one basket. So for example, let's say, like for me, I'm still currently working. I still have my job, right? So I'm saving quite a bit in various different ways. So one, I save into my actual savings account. So, a savings account that if I need money right now, I can take it. I save into my 401k, and I recently opened up a Roth IRA. So that's another form of saving for retirement. So I have multiple streams of income that I'm investing or putting money into. That way, if I was to lose my job, I still would apply for unemployment. I still have money in my savings. I still have money in my 401k that I could take out. I still would have money in my Roth IRA if I really needed to take money out. So I have these multiple streams of income, which is what I believe a lot of people really need to be focusing on right now, because like I said, with the way the economy is and the way a lot of these jobs are, people are literally losing their jobs every single week. The unemployment rate is at an all-time high. It's crazy how many people have lost their jobs, and more and more people are applying for unemployment. And for those of you who don't know, the whole $600 a week thing is getting ready to go away, which that just really baffles me, I guess you could say, that these representatives, Democrats, Republicans, they couldn't come to an agreement. And you got people out here where both parents are unemployed, and they need that $600 a week per parent, So let's just do the math, right? So let's say, both parents are out of work and they're both getting $600 a week. And if you do the math of let's say for me, I live in Illinois. So the state of Illinois, if you're bringing home $600 a week, that's roughly $20 an hour that you're making. Yep. So that's $20 an hour, which is more money than what a lot of people make. The minimum wage, at least for the state of Illinois, for most people is between $10 to $12, which is part of the reason why I know why some of them wanted to get rid of the $600, because they kind of felt like, okay, well, we're paying these people to basically not do anything. We're paying these people to basically stay home. But at the same time, you think about it, it's not like these people that lost their jobs said, oh, hey, let me lose my job, strike on me now and fire me from my job. That wasn't the case. So you also have to take that into consideration too, that it's not like people were trying to lose their job on purpose. But anyway, let's go back to the topic. Kind of got offhand. So $600 a week, both parents. Okay, so 600 times 2, that's 1,200 times 4. So that's roughly, you're bringing home $4,800. So that's $600 a week. If both people are in the house, even if one person in the house, but let's say both parents are out of work, that's really going to make a big difference, right? That's going to allow for you to be able to pay your mortgage, pay your rent, possibly be able to save money, be able to buy maybe extra things like food, clothes, etc. That it's basically pumping money into the economy. So I don't understand, why would you take that away to then now you're gonna have people that are not gonna be able to afford to live where they stay. People are gonna be evicted, etc. So it's gonna be this downward spiral, which is why I keep telling people you need to have multiple streams of income. A lot of people, from my understanding, a lot of people that have just been spending money. They haven't really been saving. And right now you really need to try to save and put your money in multiple baskets, whatever you want to call it, because as stuff keeps shutting down, and as we kind of see it, a lot of these states are now becoming hot zones. Literally, it's going to get to the point where almost every state that you go to, you're not, if you go to it, you're going to have to quarantine when you come back for 2 weeks. And that's literally where we're headed. So I don't know. It's kind of just crazy right now. But like I said, having multiple streams of income is way, which kind of leads to my next thing, which is building wealth. So there's a difference between being rich and being wealthy, right? So rich is kind of like, okay, you have money for right now. You're 18, 19, you're rich, you're a rapper, you're a YouTuber, you're a star, whatever. You have money right now, but you don't have longevity money. So that's what wealth is, like generational money. So like your kids will have money, your kids' kids will have money, their kids' kids. Like you build this train of wealth. So people are not dependent on a job for their only source of income. They'll be set if they want to go to college. They'll be set for certain things. Like that's the ultimate goal that I think so many people, what I've seen on these like videos, like on Facebook ads, that I think they don't talk about. Like they talk about, oh, starting your business and making money, and you could be rich if you invest X amount of this and this. But no one talks about wealth. No one talks about like generational wealth. Like no one talks about freedom, because wealth is freedom. Like having a consistent income that will last you for years and years to come, that's considered wealth. That's considered freedom. Because that's the biggest problem with a lot of people. Is a lot of people are handcuffed, golden chain, whatever you want to call it, shackled to their job because they don't have any backup money, which is kind of the reason with the whole economy thing of why people are working so long, why you have people that are in their 70s that are still working. They should be retired because they didn't build up a system for them to have a retirement or any type of wealth. Like they don't have anything, rich wealth, they don't have any of that. And so that's the biggest thing, is like people need to try to build wealth, generational wealth, if you can do that, not just for yourself but for the next generation to come. So yeah, those two kind of go hand in hand, because like I said, right now I think a lot of people are spending a lot of money that they shouldn't be, and they should be trying to save a lot of money and figure out ways how they can make their money grow from now on. Because like I said, with the way the economy is going, you need to have multiple streams of income, and as well as you need to also be worried about wealth, like money that continuously keeps growing. So let's go to the last and final topic, which probably may be a little bit of a discussion, which is the whole I know I'm kind of late, the Jada Pinkett and August Alsina. So there's, I guess, been a whole bunch of speculation regarding Jada Pinkett having an affair with August Alsina. I've been wanting to like talk about this topic for quite some time. I just never really pounced on it, just because I kind of wanted to research a little bit. I mean, I feel like I pretty much understand for the most part, but I mean, basically what happened is Will and Jada went through separation in their marriage, which a lot of marriages do. They're not legally separated, but they went through a period of time where they just weren't feeling each other. And that happens in marriages. That happens in relationships where you get in a rut, stuff happens. Like that's kind of part of how it goes, right? So during that time, August Alsina was having some, issues, and he kind of started coming around Will and Jada and them. And I guess Jada and August kind of started developing this bond, you could say, with each other. And because Will and Jada were not together, as she was helping August with his, issues that he was having, they kind of started to build a bond that wasn't just a friendship. It turned more into a relationship, which kind of went crazy. And after a while, they basically ended up having this whole entanglement, is the term that she used, which was, I don't know, I guess that was like her nice way of saying that, like, yeah, I cheated on my husband, I had an affair. I don't know why she just didn't come out and say, like, I had an affair. And you can see in the video when she did her, like, on her show, when she brought Will to her show, you can see that man was just heartbroken. Like, I feel like it was embarrassing, you know what I'm saying? Like, I almost feel like it was one of those things that I don't know. I feel like obviously they both knew about what happened, but I didn't expect for her to come out and openly admit that she had an affair. I kind of also feel like it made people look at her differently, and also make people look at Will differently, because it was like he accepted the fact that his wife cheated on him. And I'm pretty sure that there might have been a time that he cheated on her. We, multiple times, we just don't know, but it was kind of like, it was a sense of, I don't know, like, I wouldn't say like he lost power, but it was just like, I just felt like this was something that didn't necessarily need to be publicized. And it was weird, because it was like they made it seem as if August had talked to Will, and Will had gave permission to him to allow for him to have this entanglement with his wife. So, but then she kind of broke it down, saying that, I don't think he was saying that it was okay, but he made it seem as if it was fine for them to be hanging out or whatever, etc. But basically, I mean, the whole gist of the story is that Jada cheated on Will, and Will knows about it, and this happened a little while ago, and I guess now they're cool, they're back together, whoop-de-whoop. But the reality is that these two needed time to themselves to make themselves happy. And that happens a lot in a relationship. When you've been with somebody, and obviously there may be people that are younger, they don't know, but when you've been with somebody for so long, you guys go through ups and downs. You have issues within your relationship. There's things that, because like, so you think about how young they got married, right? And how, like what their age is now. So that means that they've been through ups and downs with each other. So the fact that they've been married for that long, there's points where you might lose interest in your partner, or you might be in a depression rut, or you might be in a rut, or just, and also another thing that happens too with people that get married like kind of young is sometimes what happens is, because you've been with that person for so long, you've never gotten a chance to taste or see what else is out there, because you've been with that person for such a long time that I guess in some ways you could say there's like this curious factor, like, okay, I didn't get a chance to see what else was out there for me. And I guess with them having this issue, I guess Jada felt like, hey, this was her opportunity to try something else. Let me see. When did Will and Jada get married? Yeah, so December 31st, 1997. So you're talking about they got married a long, long time ago when they were really, really, really young. Yeah. So they were like in their 20s basically, or something like that. So, that kind of stuff happens. I do think it's great that they are together. I guess I don't understand why did they need to come out and talk about this. I just thought it was just really weird. But I also think it is kind of nice to see the other side, that like women do have those same urges as men, because I think sometimes men tend to get the criticism, oh, he's a cheater, he's this, or he's out there cheating on his wife. It's like, some of these women be out here doing the same thing too. So I did think it was good that she did come out and she did admit that, she had an affair. The whole thing about them not being together at the time, I don't know if that necessarily was true or not. Obviously this is for TV, for publicity reasons, but I do think that it's also good sometimes to see the other side of the spectrum, I guess the female side. But the other part about it too is like, I hate that people are also trying to dog her about it too. Like they're trying to say, oh, well, she cheated and she shouldn't have done this. It's like, so all the men in the world that cheat on their wives and they just get a slap on the wrist. Like, it's the whole double standard thing that goes along with that as well. But like I said, I'd love to know you guys' thoughts about this whole situation, about all the topics that I've talked about, especially the Jada Pinkett and August Alsina. I'd love to know what you guys' thoughts about their whole entanglement. So if you guys enjoyed this podcast, be sure to give it a thumbs up, comment, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next podcast. Peace.